Yo, what's going on, man? Welcome to another edition of the Player Ball Podcast, where we cover all sports far and wide. I'm your host, Roddy. Go ahead and give us a follow at the Players Ball 1 on Twitter, and give us a follow on Instagram at the Players Ball Podcast. And then go ahead and give me a follow on Twitter at Roddy404. And then I got a new Instagram because I got hacked, unfortunately. It's Perlito404. If you need to know how to spell that, follow me on Twitter first, and Perlito is in my name on my Twitter. Now, y'all obviously know we haven't been covering a lot of college football, particularly on this show, because we have been joining the Pay for Playboys every Saturday. Unfortunately, the episode on Saturday is going to be canceled, so we thought we would have a special guest come through, kind of review what's going on in these college football playoffs, not only, but in the top 25 in general, and kind of review the season. So we got a D1 assistant D-line coach, okay, an NFL interim coach in the NFL, y'all. Not that other USFL, not them other leagues. In the NFL, our guy, Coach Chris Clark, is in the building. My guy, how you doing, man?
What's up, Roddy? How you doing, man? Appreciate you for having me on.
For sure. Look, he must be running from 12, man, because he out there, you know what I'm saying, real anonymous. Real gangland, real. I don't want the people to know, you know what I'm saying, what I do on the side. I feel that, though.
Hey, I'm always running, man.
I feel you. Look, I really want to, of course, get into, the review of the season. I guess we'll go back to the last thing we saw, which is championship weekend. And I just want to know, in your personal opinion, who do you feel like was the biggest loser of championship weekend? Because you saw USC have a great opportunity to be able to get into the playoff. And then you saw TCU, who a lot of people knew that even if they did lose, they were probably still going to be in the playoff due to their record. So who do you think really was the biggest loser in this situation?
I'm going to say USC, and then I'm also say Alabama.
Oof. Okay. I like that.
USC, USC because, all they had to do was beat Utah, and they're in. Of course, Caleb got hurt, this and that, but, I know a couple of USC fans, and one of my great friends, Coach B, he told me all year he did not want to be in the playoffs because he knew that defense will get demolished, and he knew he didn't want to play Georgia.
Yeah.
Like, the offense looks good now. It's a great offense, but we seen Lincoln Riley against Georgia before.
Yes, we have seen that before. And I mean, look, I really did like USC. I thought their defense could. I mean, you don't have to have a great defense in college football necessarily.
Correct.
I think you see the opposite with Georgia. Like, they got a great defense and an offense that is definitely above average. I would definitely put it in
it's way above average.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I would put it in the good to very good tier. Maybe not excellent or elite, but good to very good. And I think I saw USC being able to get over the hump in a couple of games just by having, a okay or maybe slightly above average defense. But I really did realize that they got a below average defense, like at best. And yeah, go ahead.
Now I'm saying way below.
Yeah. And I feel like in general, TCU is better equipped since they've been through, more difficult situations this season. I feel like they're more equipped to be in the playoff and be a strong, representative. Obviously, they didn't slip at all in their spot, but I still think, Michigan has a lot of things that they can look at that game and they can say, okay, we can expose you here, here, and here. So TCU losing two, I think probably, even though, of course, USC being out the playoff is obviously, it holds more weight. But I think you finally saw TCU vulnerable, and it would have really helped.
I agree with that because Kansas State's not literally as physical as Michigan is. And Kansas State got physical. Yeah. They also showed a little 3 scheme wise. They also went to 3D safeties, went to a 3-3-5 look, and had 3 safeties up top to stop the vertical game. And they wanted to force TCU to go horizontal. TCU's been killing all season going vertical with Quentin Johnson. Mm-hmm. They did it and got physical. And now I say this: Max Duggins, he did the damn thing. I'm not gonna even lie. He showed me something. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's gonna come down to the physicality, man. This time of year, Michigan is too physical.
Yeah, bro, I agree. And a certain Saints fan said he might want Max Duggan on his team. I don't know if you remember that coach in Sports and Coffee, but we ain't gonna say who
Yeah,
because that's my boy. But
he said that, but I mean, I can see why, But yeah, that's a story. But we'll have to talk about that another day.
yeah, that's all I'm about to say. I can get it. Competitor dude. He gonna work hard. He gonna come in and try to be the best he can be. You can't really slight a kid for that. But I don't think the talent's all the way there for the NFL level. But
No, no, he got to
nah,
develop.
yeah, like I think he would be a great third string, maybe backup. But yeah, I don't see that. But Michigan, like you said, is going to try to do the same thing. And to move to our second question, they're going to try to do the same thing because Ohio State, is basically the same as TCU. They want to go vertical. And I just want to review that game in general because I feel like, of course, we know the Ohio State and Michigan fans are going to keep beefing, especially when Michigan is going to win 2 times in a row. Like that was inevitable.
Right?
But do you really think that they have an outside chance to beat the favorite that is Georgia? Either of them?
Yeah, I will say that they have a chance because anybody has a chance. Let me put it like this: anybody has a chance any given day, any given game. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But realistically, bro, Michigan got physical with them. And Ohio State
Mhm.
fans, I understand Marvin Harrison Jr. a complete dog. C.J. Stroud, even though Bryce Young is better, but he's a elite quarterback. I ain't gonna take it away from him. And Ryan Day, but bro, that team in Athens, Georgia is nasty.
Hey, they
It's
say I'm biased.
it's nasty, man. Like, bro, they're going to get physical, bro. This is the thing with Georgia. Those DBs at Georgia not scared of Marvin Harrison, bro.
No, I would they be?
Ringo and Malik and Starks, the freshman, they're not scared of him.
Mm,
If Jimmy Smith was playing, I'd be like, okay, Ohio State, y'all have a chance. Him and Harrison,
mm,
but bro, they're not scared. Then Henderson not playing. Like, bro, you have to be healthy to play Georgia #1, and you have to play a perfect game.
mm. Yeah, I agree. And it's in their capabilities, like you said,
Mm-hmm.
either of them's capabilities. And I was really impressed by Michigan's secondary. I didn't think that they were gonna be able to limit them in the second half like they could, or
Mm-hmm.
like they did, should I say. But I mean, you really do have to win the game in the trenches, like especially in college football. I understand that talent sometimes can rule all, but the fundamentals of the game come into play hugely in every situation. So it's gonna be up to that. Can Michigan get physical with Georgia if they beat TCU? Can
Right.
Ohio State do it? Do you feel like you're confident in a defensive structure over there at Ohio State?
No, man, JJ McCarthy was cooking.
Yeah, he was.
Stetson's better than JJ McCarthy, in my opinion. People gonna like, what, really? Stetson's not. He's a man. Stetson Bennett plays some great ball, man.
I again, like they say, I'm biased, but I'm showing them the tape. I'm showing them the film. I'm showing them that although Stetson may not have the most amazing stats and he
He's
might
one.
look mediocre, you know what I'm saying? He's winning. Exactly. So I don't know why, people try to rat on him so bad. We're not trying to prop him up to make him be something that he's not. I think he still deserved to go to New York, and people think I'm crazy for that.
Oh, he
But
did. He deserved
the man won 30 games in the last 2 years. Like, he's got
it.
to get some type of credit for that. No, like,
And he has that.
no.
Man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, I really want to get into Georgia because I know, I don't really try to talk about them a lot because
People
I
hate.
know everybody gonna think I'm biased. Yeah, people gonna think, they hate on it or whatever. Like, I'm cool with not talking about it and just letting y'all see on Saturdays what happens. But you're a defensive guy. Obviously, I said the offense is good, not fantastic. But what would be your strategy to beat Georgia?
Point of attack. Be physical up front.
Mhm.
Don't try to outdo them with physicality. Just do
Yeah.
your job being physical. You
Mhm.
can't be finesse. Uh
Yeah.
Stake free football. No, the most important thing, no penalties, no holdings. no illegal shifts, blocking the backs, offensive pass interference. Because it's already hard to get 10 yards in this Georgia. Well, if you're going back 5 to 10 more yards, you might well get ready to punt.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And also, too, Georgia's playing with a chip on their shoulder. I know nobody gonna not understand what I'm saying, but after what Kirby said about he wasn't happy with that performance of the defense against LSU, he said he beat them by 20 points and, gave up some plays. Some of the starters wasn't even in. But he already said, we're going to bust our ass at practice. We're going to work hard. These guys know better. We don't accept that. If I'm Ohio State, I don't want to hear that. That's not what I want to hear.
Oh God, that is not what I want to hear, because it's like Ohio State, it depends how you really feel about like that whole, rest situation. Like, if you haven't played in 4 weeks, yes, you do have time to get certain people healthy. But you still, like you said, you got star players that are not gonna play,
Correct.
and you might be a little bit rusty against a team who, got some run 3 weeks ago. It's a long break for everybody, but they're still going to be a little bit more fresh than you. Still be a little bit more experienced. And George's been hurt too. AD Mitchell hasn't played all year. Basically since the Sanford game, he's got a couple of snaps here and there. But I I would say the same thing. You got to be physical up front. I do think you can beat the DBs. I've seen the DBs getting beat
No,
this year.
the DBs can be beat. But the thing
Yeah.
is, it goes back to my first point. You have to be physical up front to do that, because
Mhm.
that front, that man, 88 is a problem. He can win a game by himself.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So let's see, the thing with Georgia DBs are your ordinary DBs, aggressive defense, knowing that the front's gonna get the pressure. We're gonna play man. We're gonna be rough and tough with you. I'm gonna be aggressive. Yes, you're gonna beat me. But the thing is your quarterback gonna throw you the ball, because my front, he's on the ground.
Yeah. Hmm.
So
And is your quarterback good enough to get you the ball? That's
exactly.
been a
And we
lot
all we
here
also gonna
recently.
see how good CJ Stroud is.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And that's why I'm glad he's playing, because I feel like he kind of knows it too. Even though, for the leader of the team, the quarterback, to kind of drop out when you have a chance to compete for a national championship, that would be, fan base wouldn't be happy about that. Although I know they'd be happy he's going to the draft. I think they would much rather try to compete for a championship, because what, they ain't won since 16. So
Yeah, 16, 15. Zeke,
yeah.
that Zeke and Cardell Jones. Yep.
Yeah, so I understand, and I think he sees, look, this is the best opportunity for me to put up some really good game film. So let me go ahead and play in this Georgia game so I can look good. I can show the scouts that I can play against NFL caliber players, elite college players, even if they're not going to the NFL, and maybe they'll rise my stock a little bit. So
Because remember this, Roddy? We saw Bryce Young as a true sophomore against that defense last year, which was better than this year's
yeah.
in both games.
Mhm.
Bryce did the damn thing. He lost 2 starter receivers who were game changers.
Mhm.
So we saw what Bryce can do.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, and yeah,
it
go
was,
ahead.
because the defense last year was way. If he was going against the defense from last year, this year, man, look, I would have told him myself, don't play.
Yeah, I feel the same way, because I just I really think that, if we're gonna go to Alabama a little bit, because and we'll get into actually this, we'll segue my Alabama point into
Mm-hmm.
the SEC bias point, but um, obviously they've been on a pedestal for a long time. And obviously the defense is what got, the most attention, because Kirby and Nick are two defensive geniuses. I think that's not, really out of the question to say at this point of their careers. Um, but what really never got love that I feel like it deserved during those Alabama runs was the offensive line. And of course, people who really follow the SEC, knew, and
Yeah,
people who knew college football and scouting and all that shit knew. But that was such an integral part to success. And it's why AJ McCarron and Greg McElroy and even Mac Jones can look amazing when, they're just average. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, and we'll segue into the SEC bias conversation. Why do people think that there's just like like a bow and a ribbon, type gift wrap situation for the SEC every year, either to be in the playoff or even to be in the top 25. Why do you feel like that is?
You know what it is, right? It's simple. Since 2000, the SEC has ran through college football with the most national champions, the BCS in the playoffs. And then, of course, you got that one team that's just so great. People, when you're doing things like right in life, guess what happens? You're going to have
Some
solid
haters.
critics. You're going to have haters.
Mhm.
And now people thought, oh, well, Bama's going to have a down year. Well, guess what? Nick Saban's prodigy is saying, hold on, I got you, Nick. All
Yeah.
right. SEC still going to run it, but we're going to do it in Georgia, though. So, that's what
Hmm.
it is. But like I tell people, you could be mad, call them mid, but when you play them, they bust your ass.
Hmm.
Down
Yeah.
south football is different than football up north.
Hmm. Yeah. It
So,
just and I love the SEC tagline. Like, I think that's the best tagline,
yeah,
maybe in all of sports. It just means more because it does. Like
sports,
football.
sports down south, that's what I tell people. Sports down south is where you really see the true pride of college sports.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I tell people this all the time, opposed to, up north. We don't have the Packers. We don't have the Red Sox. We don't have the Yankees. You know what I'm saying? We got Georgia, we got Alabama, we got Florida, you know what I'm saying? Texas, even if you want to go that far. But it does really mean more. And when I'm talking about this SEC bias topic, I always like to go to the bottom of the SEC
Mm-hmm.
because you can see. I mean, I have the game on right now. Dre Greenlaw is a starter on San Francisco, one of the best defenses in the entire NFL. He went to Arkansas. You know what I'm saying?
And you see how he
So
plays? Vicious,
exactly.
angry. Man, them dudes,
Yeah.
man, I gotta tell people, I say, keep hating on you. I mean, until you stop them. If Michigan, Ohio State, or TCU has to be the team that's gonna stop them.
Yeah, and it looks like it's going to, if Kirby stays at Georgia, it looks like it's going to go into the 30-year period where the SEC dominates because I mean, we've already got all the championships in this era. It was 20 was Bama, last year was us. I mean,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
would like to
LSU,
believe
Bama,
we're going
what,
to repeat.
three straight years.
Yeah, exactly. And again, I try to go to the bottom of the SEC. We try to tell people on the spaces the other day that Missouri has a great defense and they have a great defensive line that has a whole bunch of athletic players. And everybody's just looking at us like, come on, bro, it's
Hey,
Mizzou.
hey, right. Remember everybody used to laugh at Tennessee? And motherfuckers used to tell them, Tennessee's gonna come back. Top 10 team in the country this year. Just saying.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Like the resources are too plentiful. Like there's a reason, and I want to say RIP to Mike Leach, obviously a great football coach. I'm glad he got his opportunity to coach at Mississippi State before he died because he was a guy who's been to multiple stops in college football, showed that he was a great coach, showed that he could go to one of those smaller programs with the behemoths and the giants, at the top of the program and actually compete with them, or should of the conference, should I say? So
and he did a great job.
yeah, and I hate that he had to pass. I I do have a name actually, and I just thought of this today. I know we're going off script, but you know who would probably be somebody that would draw interest to that job if they get fired from the NFL this year?
Who you got? Talk to me.
Cliff Kingsbury.
Oh yeah, because his days in Arizona. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, he's coaching the South. Obviously, it didn't go great
yeah.
at Texas Tech. I'm not gonna act like he was a great college coach. But if you're talking about the personnel, it's for an air raid system. What they have right now, I think Will Rogers is going to be gone after this year. But
Oh yeah, I think Will has 1 year left, and what Mike Leach did with him was amazing.
he leads the SEC all time in pass completions, which is the craziest stat in the world to me because it's Will Rogers. Like he's been there at Mississippi State. He's been,
He's been there for
serviceable. Yeah, he's been
yeah.
serviceable, but it's like I wouldn't have known that he was the all-time leader in completions. So yeah, I just hate to see Mike Leach go, but I love looking at the Mississippi States, the Missouris. I can't categorize Auburn, I guess, as that anymore because they won a championship in our lifetime. But
Yeah, or
um,
LSU. Man, you got Ole Miss on the come up. Yeah, I know Texas A&M had a bad year last year. Trust me, but that team but look at the year before that. Like, man, look at Vandy. Vandy won 6 games this year, 5, 6 games,
5 games,
and
yeah.
that was the worst team in the SEC. Me,
hmm
got teams in the Big 12, Big 10, 8, and the ACC, Pac-12 only winning 3 games. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Vandy's baseball in an academic school, and they won 6 games, bro.
hmm
And people thought, oh, the NIL is gonna change everything. You just made the SEC even worse. I mean, even better.
Yeah. Yeah. Because these kids are like, wow, I can. And I mean, it's about just based on the geography also of of the SEC. Like Vandy's not a prominent school in terms of football prowess, like you said, but it's in Nashville. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like you're gonna get local money off the NIL. You know what I'm saying? So it's different places where you can go, and it doesn't have to be Tuscaloosa, Athens, Baton Rouge, College Station. It don't have to be these big name places. It could be these smaller schools, and you might be in a bigger city. So I think it's just too many advantages to be in the SEC, and you can see it. Like there's so many. I could look at the game right now and call out. He's from Missouri. He's from Arkansas. He's from Georgia. He's from LSU. Like, and it's just so easy off the tongue. So I don't get why people think it's a bias thing. I really don't.
Hey, it's gonna be even worse this year when Georgia wins it again, and I'm gonna love it because I'm gonna say I thought the SEC was mid. I thought y'all was ready for the SEC.
Hey man, look.
They, and they really thought, well, Bama's down. It's somebody else's chance to take over. Well, that monster that's coaching Georgia, that man in Alabama created him. So like, it's even worse.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be looking forward to how they do in bowl season, SEC, other than the
Yeah,
college football playoff. I want to see how bowl season goes because usually the SEC beats everybody else's ass in
I
that
hope
too.
they dominate everybody in bowl season.
Yeah, I don't understand it. But speaking of bowl season, we'll go to the New Year's Six matchups. Obviously they're not as favorable, I guess, as they used to be.
Correct.
But I still feel like they got some, what I'm saying? They got some value to them. So in your opinion, what's the best New Year's Six bowl matchup to you?
Man, I'm going to go 2 games. Penn State and Utah in the Rose Bowl. I love watching Utah in the Rose Bowl. And Penn State actually was excited to see him to watch it. He's Sean Clifford. He was there, been there forever. So, get a good laugh from him. And then you get a football game. And then the reason I'm saying Alabama and Kansas State, well, Sugar Bowl, and we know sometime in bowl games like this, Alabama doesn't play their best. But as of right now, Bryce Young hasn't opted out, or Will Anderson.
hmm
And also, too, Bama lost a lot of players in the portal. So we get to see some of the young guys. And then Kansas State. Kansas State showed me a lot. And I like Deuce Vaughn, the little
Oh
running back.
yeah, I love Deuce too. Yeah.
So that Tennessee and Clemson, I'm not worried about that game. That's nothing. So those are 2 games I'm really looking forward to.
Really? You're not digging Tennessee and Clemson for real?
Well, only because Hendon Hooker out. I like the quarterback
Yeah.
next year, and then Clemson doesn't excite me anymore. I guess because they don't have that guy at quarterback.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I feel you.
I'm gonna watch the games, but that's one of those games where I'm like, Tennessee don't have. Oh yeah, Hyde's not playing, Tillman's not playing, Hooker's not playing. So
Yeah.
Tennessee doesn't even have anybody playing.
Yeah, exactly. So it's gonna be, and Heupel's offense, I think, is good enough to still win this game, even
Yeah,
though I think this will be the second best defense other than Georgia that Clemson. Oh well, no, they played Mizzou, and I think Mizzou's defense is better than Clemson's defense
yeah,
too. So I think still a good defense though. Still, I would say SEC caliber,
yeah.
just because of some of the pieces that they have over there. But I'll be interested to see. I hate the sitting out, even though I know you want to protect your money, you protect your body. I would never be a hater against that.
Right.
But I really did, want to see, what I'm saying? I wanted to see Jalen Hyatt and Tillman to, see what the backup at Clemson has because he's pretty good. They've I
He's
mean, they look different. At least they look like they can move the ball down the field, which is the most important thing.
Makes you think they could have been in the playoffs and undefeated. They would have played him.
Yeah, you never know. I'm saying, yeah. Well, hindsight 2020, but yeah, DJ, I'm glad he's transferring. He needs to go back to the left coast, maybe get into a Pac-12 school, middle of the
Go to
pack
UCLA.
school.
Yeah, go to UCLA or something, man.
Ooh, yeah, that would be great.
This this
UCLA.
this type of football over here ain't for you, man.
Nah, he ain't ready for this yet. But yeah, I would agree. Cotton Bowl, USC, Tulane.
Well, and
That
we
could be a
don't
toss up.
even know if Caleb playing. So
If I was Caleb, I wouldn't play. I mean, it's nothing to really play for, especially against a Tulane defense. Like they should win. So hopefully, but maybe it'll be a high scoring game so we can see some fireworks or something like that.
correct.
But I want to go ahead and get into our last question, the college football playoff predictions. I feel like I know where you're headed, but give me scores for the first two matchups and then give me a score for the national championship.
TCU and Michigan. All right, TCU and Michigan. I'm gonna go Michigan 34, TCU 28.
Okay. I like that.
Georgia and Ohio State. I'm gonna give Ohio State 24 out of respect.
Okay.
24 out of respect. Well, they probably could score high, but I'm going to go 24. Georgia 42.
Okay.
But this the thing is, right? This what people kill me when they look at Georgia. They think it's just the defense, bro. That offense can beat you in a shootout or just running the ball too. Brock Bowles is a man. Look, I don't want to keep going on that. I'm just gonna let the play do the talking.
He's 19 years old, bro. Like that shit is insane to me. Like he's 19 years old and Darnell's 20. So I don't know. Like I don't get it. I don't get it.
They
I,
don't.
I, yeah, they're just not playing fair over there. Brock is not playing fair. And they got 3 NFL running backs. So yeah, man, good luck to them. But so that means Michigan and Georgia in the national championship. What you got on that one?
This gonna be the surprise. Georgia's winning, but I'm gonna go physicality. I'm gonna go Georgia 27, Michigan 20.
Okay, I like that. I think it's going to definitely be a close game. If it gets to that, I would say my prediction with Michigan and TCU, I think that's going to be a 38-20
Mm-hmm.
type of ordeal. I think Michigan just, like you said, out physicals them. I think, TCU is going to be able to score, but it's going to be a struggle. This is going to be the best defense they've seen all year. I don't trust any Big 12 defense, and I never have, and I never will. So yeah, I think it's a Michigan win pretty easy. Georgia, I'm gonna not be biased, bro. I think it's gonna be 34 to like 17.
Yeah, I honestly could see that, bro. I really think Georgia's gonna beat the shit out of these people because
They
a lot of people talking about Ohio State, this and that, and that LSU, them dudes, bro. You remember going into the Tennessee game and how Kirby said they practiced that week because everybody got tired of everybody talking about Tennessee offense, Tennessee this, Tennessee that, and they just made them look like they never played before. I
like
think
children.
they had that, man.
I agree. I think.
It really means a lot to them.
Oh yeah, and then they'd be the first team to go back to back, in the playoff era. So
Yes.
it's like it's still things to play for, and all the key players are sophomores or it's their senior season, so they don't have a reason to sit this game out. Like,
Right. They want another ring. Create your own legacy.
yeah, ah, so 42. What I say, 34-17
Yes.
for the first one. Okay, and then for the national championship, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go 35-28 And I think Michigan is going to have a chance to maybe win it at the end of the game. But I think Georgia seals the deal with a defensive stop. And we win another national championship. There
Yep.
we go. Happily ever after.
I can't with SEC haters.
Bro, I hate every year that this shit is like 3 weeks away, because then it forces me to like be like, oh man, I gotta fucking wait for fucking 3 weeks just throwing over this.
Hear these crazy ass fans lie about Ohio State and Michigan being better than Georgia.
Yeah, and argue with each other like they didn't already play and say, oh, we should have deserved this, we should have deserved that. Man, look, man, handle your chances when you get them, man. And if you can't handle your chances when you get them, what can I say for you?
Look, that's your fault.
What can I say for you? I can't say shit. But I want to thank you, Coach Chris Clark, for joining us on the show. Please tell the people where they can find you if you want them to find you on socials and all that good jazz.
And y'all can find me on Twitter at Coach CD Clark. Yeah, Coach CD Clark on Twitter. Hit me up. Got any football questions? Want to talk? Hit me up.
Exactly. And he looking for hires, so you know what I'm saying? If you got a situation, it is phone. And be sure to follow us too at the Players Ball 1. We are definitely going to be dropping a lot of content. We're going into the NFL playoffs. NBA is going to go, in the mid-season, All-Star break and all that good jazz. We're going to have some World Cup coverage for next week because the finals on Sunday. So be sure to be following us at the Players Ball 1, and then at the Players Ball Podcast on Instagram. Again, I'm at Roddy404 on Twitter, at Perlito404 on Instagram. You can find that on my Twitter handle. And yeah, man, until next week, we'll holla at y'all later. Peace.
Appreciate y'all.